Howdy, my name is Noah Tatko, and I am going to be assisting you on your tour to learning cryptography. Now you might ask, why do you want to learn cryptography? Well, this is the video for you. We're going to talk about the basics of cryptography and what it's used for, and kind of the origins of where it came from. So, what is cryptography? It's any way that you take information and hide or disguise it. That's all part of cryptography. When you were in second grade and you were using Pig Latin, or had entire conversations with people from across the room, just with eye contact and such. These are all basic ways to hide information in a non-electronic sense. Cryptography is not to be confused with encryption, however. Encryption is a means of hiding information to make it apparently gibberish. Pig Latin sort of falls into this category as well, but, it's slightly different. People have only ever needed to use cryptography when they've had something to hide. In a perfect world, where everybody trusts everybody else, there would be no need to conceal information. The first users of cryptography were really spies and armies who needed to arrange themselves and pass data back and forth without really being detected. And before computers, there were a lot of ways to pass messages by hand, with just paper or in words, etc. There are some crazy methods out there. You can jumble letter orders on pages, replace all of the letters with random symbols, write on a really skinny wound up piece of paper on like a tube, and then you unwind it and it's all in this weird order, and you've got to have the perfect tube size to know exactly which one it is, and it could be any size tube. Those are just a few number. That's just a very small sample of like the original cryptography that people would use. And in the next couple of lessons, I will talk more and more about ways to encrypt something. To use cryptography on something. I guess encrypt. It tries to make information gibberish, right? That's kind of what this whole thing is. You're encrypting information. So those were the first users, and then the first computer users. Again, spies and armies. Spies and armies have a lot of things to hide, and governments as well. And since electronic messages have become more and more common, the need to hide electronic information has become more and more severe. Back in the day, when the telephone was still a novelty, people had what were known as party lines. Literally, it would be like your entire town would share one telephone wire. Imagine all the conversations that you have now that you would choose not to have if you knew that all the people in town were listening into you. Nowadays, cell phone calls and regular phone calls are encrypted, and you can no longer even pick them up from your ham radio. You used to be able to do that in the early thousands. During World War II, when the bombs were flying and people were radioing out information to ships, airplanes, and bases, etc., different nations had different ways to hide the instructions and commands from prying eyes. However, crypto was a new science then, and the codes that they would use were fairly easy to break. So the US used a big giant computer to listen in and then translate from gibberish to valuable information. Well, I suppose the real reason you're listening to this video is because you have information that you want to hide, or you're working for someone who has information that they want to hide. And a lot of people, they're skeptical and they don't think they have anything to hide. And this is totally false. The sad answer is we all have a lot to hide. Think about it. You go into the store, you use your credit card. The metal strip, the magnetic strip on your credit card, you've probably never even given a second thought to it. But it contains all kinds of information about you. Your name, your age, some even profiling about you, as well as the credit card numbers itself. So you trust the store to hide your information well. And now that's the store's cryptography on your behalf, but you have many things to hide as well. You have email addresses on your computer that you don't want people just to know who your friends are. You store passwords, credit card numbers, web history, connections to your work computer. Your email contains a lot of information about who you are. Your contacts alone if someone were to like hack your email, figure out who your contacts were, and then send emails as you, telling a person to click on some funny link, which actually downloads some sort of virus, um, not only can the hacker gain information. Sorry, I don't like the word hacker. Electronic penetrator. They know all sorts of things about you and then your friends don't like you anymore because you sent them a virus. Um, so you know, and you know, it's your computer. The odds are you're doing something on a computer that you don't want other people to know about. Um, whatever that may be, I'm not going to get into what that might be. Um, but this gives someone leverage over you because they know information about you that you don't want other people to know. Um, Also, access into your work computer. This could give them access to, the money system that you like, your payment system that you get paid with. And they might go and post that information online or other random stuff. Anyway, the reality is it's all possible. And I know it sounds far fetched, and that this sort of thing always happens to someone else. But just remember, to somebody else, you are the someone else. So these things are far fetched, but they do happen. It's a very real thing to get your identity stolen. So protecting who you are is important in this day and age. Um, so what does all this mean? Well, number one, protecting information is important. Cybersecurity is one of the fastest growing fields right now. And, there are many ways to protect the information that you hold. And I guess the last thing that we learn is that spies and governments have secrets. And a lot of times, most of the research that goes on in cybersecurity and this sort of thing stemmed out of what governments were doing originally to try to protect their own secrets.